Good evening, everyone. Good to see you all. Why don't we just sit in a comfortable posture? Keep your spine straight, keep your back straight, and let's just begin to tune in. Let's begin to tune in to our breaths, to the sound. Moving into a state of Zen and quietude. Breathing in deeply. And breathing out completely. Breathing in completely. And breathing out fully. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale and exhale. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Breathing in fresh prana and exhaling completely. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Feeling the body lighten up. We begin now with some conscious breathing. So let's inhale on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. And now slowly, let's Take a deep breath in. Let's bring the hands to heart center. We chant Om together 3 times. Om. 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, and peace. Om Tat Sat. Welcome everyone to class. Thank you all for joining. It's good to see some of our regulars. Pankaj, Ishween, Batul, good to see you. I know for sure I'm going to see you in the course, so it's good for everyone to join in. Right? Thank you so much. Devya, Poonam. Always nice to have your cameras on. Thank you, Meghna, for joining. I hope you're feeling better now. Lara, and everyone else. I'm going to keep you guys on mute just so that there's not any disturbance during the course of this class. But if there's any questions, comments, thoughts you have, please keep them coming in the chat box. So the chat box is just open for everyone. So just I can see this, it's right in front of me. So just type in stuff as and when you feel like it as a response to me or a thought or anything else. In this way, we can make this more interactive than one way, right? So thank you, everyone. I'm Ira Trivedi, and it's really an honor to be doing this webinar, only because I'm so excited to be starting our PTC program on May 1st. Before we begin into what this course is going to be like, what the structure of the course is, what the timings are, what to expect, and any other questions that any of you may have, I thought that I would share with you my own yoga journey and my own yoga journey of how I became a teacher, why I became a teacher, and stuff like that. All right. So many years ago, it was almost, I would say, 13 plus years ago, maybe it was 14, um, in my early 20s. I was going through this very strange moment in my life. I had achieved so many things that I'd set out to do till that age, but um, I still felt, I still felt like, what is the next step to life? Okay, I know this sounds um, like in my early 20s to come to this, but the background of that is even more interesting. So I had gotten into a very prestigious business school, Columbia Business School, at the age of 20. And I was the youngest ever person that ever accepted in the history of this very famous business school. And by this age, at 20, when I went in there, I had started a company, I had begun to write, I published several books. And so when I went there, um, for me, the only next step that I had to accomplish was to become rich, right? This is my ambition when I went to business school, all right? I was like, I want to become rich. I've been a struggling student so far. I was in America and I had very little money. I was there on a scholarship. And for anything beyond just survival, I had to make my own money, all right? So then at business school, I was lucky to get a scholarship. So while they were paying for everything, my studies and my stay, for anything else, for even a dollar that I had to get to take a subway, I had to earn that money on my own. And I would do that through a lot of writing, actually. I would write for different places, make some money, and be able to support myself. So my ambition through business school was only one, that I never want to be poor again. Okay, this is where I approach business school, that I want to make a lot of money. All right, this is what I want to do. So I got this as my goal. And after 1 year of being at business school, I realized that no one was hiring me because I had no work experience, right? I was very young, and every time I would go into a bank or anything else, they would tell me that, hey, you're too young, you have no experience, we don't want to hire you. So I was like, oh my gosh, like I've come here and I need to become rich really soon. What do I do? Right? What is my option now? Um, and so I started, I was at this point pretty desperate. So this is what I want to do. How do I get this done? I saw this advertisement for a job at a small company. It was a airline company, in Europe. It was a private jet company. When I began to go deeper, it was not any ordinary company. It was a private jet company. And they said that, will you, it was such a small company. They had very few people who were hiring them, but the CEO of that company was an alumni of business school. I was the first to apply. And they said, will you fly to Germany, do an interview? And I was like, yes, free trip to Germany. Of course, I'm going to go. I went there, I did the interview, and they found my enthusiasm. Actually, it was desperation that they ended up hiring me. And that small company ended up becoming a huge company in the course of 1 year. And today, that company, it's called VistaJet. It's the biggest private jet, one of the biggest private jet companies in the world. And I was one of that company's first three employees. I worked with them through business school, and I ended up achieving my dream of becoming very rich. Okay. And I had money to do everything that I wanted, everything that I wanted. And in my last semester of business school, I had classes 1 day a week, and the rest of the day, 6 days, living in New York City, I was living what I thought was my dream life. Okay, my dream life. I had as much money as I wanted to have to spend on living in the best flat, to spend on I had a car and a driver. Can you imagine in New York City? Everything that you can imagine because I was making so much money. I had no liabilities, and this was really living the high life. And you know what the biggest perk of all of this was? That because I was working for a private jet company, um, I would fly around in that private jet. Okay. When they were going from here to there, like dropping off one customer, there was empty legs. So I would hop on this private jet, and I was like, wow, can you imagine this? I'm 22 or 23 years old, and this is my life, all right? So I did this. And then I don't know when it happened, but it was towards the end of business school. And I was graduated and I was living in New York City. And I remember that I had everything that I wanted, right? I made a lot of money. I was living in this flat. And it was like a moment. And I said, what am I doing? What's next? And I couldn't figure out what was next. And as I was working in this company, I was somehow not getting happier and happier. I was just getting more and more disgruntled. Like the correct word is disgruntled. I was just more and more frustrated, more and more irritated. I was working a lot. I wasn't happy in my body. I wasn't happy with my body. I wasn't happy in my mind, and I wasn't happy, you know, um, in my mind either. So this is my state of affairs. And I said, wait, if I've accomplished the dream to be rich that I set out to do, then why aren't I feeling a sense of happiness? Right? Like, why am I not feeling a sense of contentment? I should be over the moon. But I just, I realized that my life was actually pretty empty. And so then what did I do? It was a crazy moment, guys. It was a crazy moment. I literally took I remember I gave away a lot of money. Whatever money that I had made, I'd of course spent a lot of it during just living in New York because I had no sense of saving any money because why would I need to save, right? I was 22, 23 years old. I didn't have any liabilities. So I spent a lot of the money and I said, let me do everything that I want to do. And whatever money that I had left, I had $3,000 left. I remember I went and I handed it out to people in New York, like literally people on the street. I said, you know what? Let me give this money back to the people that I got it. And at that point in time, I began my yoga journey, which is another story altogether. I first went to a place called, it's a place in Italy called Cortona, and it's a monastery. And for whatever reason, it was a conference of science and spirituality. One of my mentors was teaching at it. I went there and I ended up spending 2 months there. And then from them on, I came back to India. There was a whole transition period. I didn't just leave my life behind. When I came back to India, I had question marks. What do I do now? The company needed me again because I was first three employees, right? There's a lot of stuff that I knew that no one else knew. So I got back to the company, whatever. So on and so forth. It took about a year and a half for me to resolve my life. And then is when I started getting deeper into yoga. Okay, I'd been practicing a little bit of yoga, but it was not something that I thought that I was ever serious about. In fact, I thought that yoga was very, very boring. The first yoga class that I did, I remember that my yoga teacher, it was because I'd gained a lot of weight, and I had PCOD, I had all sorts of, disorders that you get at, when you're a young woman and you're not that healthy in your body. And we had a yoga teacher. My parents said, okay, we're going to call a yoga teacher. And this yoga teacher was really fat. And every time he would make us do shavasana, he would fall asleep and start snoring himself during the class. Okay. So I was like, this is just like this yoga. I don't know what this is about. This is not for me. And then, anyways, when I was living in America, I remember I it was being endorsed by so many celebrities, and I thought to myself, what is this yoga about? And I went to a yoga studio. This is my days when I'm poor, the early days, and I couldn't afford a class. It was like $20 in the yoga studio. All right. And so, yeah. And then, anyways, after that, I became kind of interested in yoga. Like, why are people paying so much money for yoga in the West? And then, this is like earlier impression of yoga was beginning to be question marked. And whatever it is, through a confluence of events, I found a book on yoga, and I still don't know how that book got into my house. I don't know who bought it, why it was on the bookshelf. I read that book, and it was a very high quality, nice book. And then I ended up going to the Shivananda ashram in Rishikesh because this is where the book was published from. And when I went, and I just decided on a whim to go to the ashram, I ended up staying there for almost a month, 2 months. And I began to understand yoga as not just a physical practice, but as a way of life. And these 2 months that I spent at that ashram was, for me, changed everything around, right? It completely made whatever I had thought of what was important, what was not important, completely upside down. Then I spent, after that, the next few years doing a lot of yoga, practicing a lot of yoga, studying a lot of yoga, and going deeper and deeper into my practice. And when I did my teacher training course, can I tell you, I remember I signed up for it and I said, I never want to be a yoga teacher. I never had no intention of becoming a yoga teacher. And in fact, when you have to teach a class during your yoga TTC, right? They make you teach a class as part of passing. Even we have that. And then I taught the class, and I went and told them, I don't want to teach this class because I have no intention of teaching. And I fought with them, saying, I don't want to teach this class. I've only come here to learn. I don't want to become a yoga teacher, all right? And then they said, no, if you want to pass, then you better teach this yoga class. And I said, you know what, forget it. I'll just teach a yoga class. I don't care how shitty the yoga class is. So I taught that yoga class. And I remember after the yoga class, there was 5-person teaching group. They all told me, every single person in that class told me, Ira, you should consider becoming a yoga teacher. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? I was like, no way, I'm going to be a yoga teacher. And then I ended up doing a lot of trainings with no intention of becoming a yoga teacher. The only reason I did my TTC was because I loved yoga. I loved the way it made me feel. And I could see a transformation and a change happening. And I was beginning to learn what I was practicing in a very systematic way. And I was going beyond just an asana practice. I was beginning to understand the pieces of the puzzle that put yoga together. It's not just the postures that you do, but it's so many other things that you begin to understand. And then it's sort of like all of these things exist by themselves. Maybe Bhagavad Gita, maybe the Yoga Sutras, maybe a yogic diet, maybe chanting, maybe mantras, maybe Vedanta. But then you kind of begin to understand how all of this stuff is basically one. And this was for me a very interesting process, which absolute lifelong journey. Okay, this is how the yoga journey began, with no intention of becoming a yoga teacher. Even today, sometimes I wake up and I'm in shock that I'm a yoga teacher. I'm not joking with you, even till today, because it was such a strong notion set in me that, is it what's going to happen? And more than anything else, um, it's the kind of awareness that yoga brings to not just one aspect of life. And just by doing this, I became a better person. I know this sounds a bit strange, but this is also what a yoga practice was doing to me. I was becoming a less selfish, more compassionate person. And and this all began with an asana practice, right? It began by doing a physical practice, and it led its way through my life. And even till today, I consider myself a student of yoga for life. And sometimes sometimes it does get tough. Yoga, there are times I remember during my TTC, I felt like leaving my TTC, right? The many multiple trainings that I did, but always at the end, I was very, very happy that I have embarked on this journey. And the most beautiful part is, um, even better than practicing yoga, the kind of feeling that you get. And I know that most of your yoga practitioners, is the feeling you get after teaching a class. There's nothing as uplifting as that. There's nothing as uplifting as teaching a yoga class and becoming an instrument of that energy to other people. You know, you're not just merely teaching them physical postures. You teach them a lot more than that. And remember that even a child, even a small child, needs a teacher to teach them one, two, three, and ABC, right? So something that is as deep as yoga, perhaps the deepest science, right? The deepest human science. For that, definitely you need a teacher. And when you become a teacher, then you really begin understanding that this is really something that you can really become a true messenger of peace and wellness, and that's what this program is about. It's not just about, hey, I can teach you asanas, but it's about becoming a guide, a guide for inspiring other people to be on this journey. And that could be people in your own family. That could be your kids, that could be your parents, that could be your community, that could be your friends, that could even just be yourself sometimes. And even that's absolutely fine. Even that's absolutely fine. So this is what the intention of this program is. And it's the first ever online TTC that we're doing. I've taught many offline TTCs, and so we're trying to form a really beautiful program. And I'll explain a brief structure of this program. And if there's any questions on the structure, then please put a message in the chat box on this. So we have two structures. So one is there's modules, okay? We have 32 modules that we are going to be giving you, and each of these modules is a short module of 20 to 30 minutes. If you guys want to note this down somewhere, you can. So each module is going to be between 20 minutes to 40 minutes. 40 minutes is going to be the longer modules that you have, which is going to be on the asana practice, right? We're going to be talking about corrections, modifications, and these 32 modules have to be finished over 8 weeks. So we advise people to do 4 modules a week from Monday to Thursday or Tuesday to Friday, whatever it is. 4 days of the week, we want you to do 1 module. And of course, we want you to do self-practice. You guys are yoga teachers. You should be practicing yoga. And for practice, we give you access to our live studio, which has classes going on, at multiple times. So we would like you to come for those live classes as much as possible. And we also have recordings of the classes in case you miss it. But we expect you to be practicing yoga at least 4 to 5 times a week. Okay, at least. As a yoga teacher, it is your goal for these next 2 months to really get yourself in the best possible shape, mentally, physically, and otherwise, to be able to teach people. So this 2 months is also a time for your own serious self-practice. Okay, so it's going to be self-practice every day with 1 module. The modules have assignments. They're short assignments, a few questions, but you'll be answering them, you'll be submitting them, we'll be checking them. Okay, now on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays, we're going to have classes from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. live. Okay, those live classes on Saturdays and Sundays are going to be with me. Saturdays is going to be an asana class, and on Sunday, we're going to have a Q&A and a discussion of whatever we have done for the week. All the modules we have practiced through the week, all the topics, we're going to be talking about them, discussing them, looking at assignments. So you should come prepared to these lectures. And then after Sunday, if we have time after our discussion, then we'll be doing more asana, right? Or at least pranayama meditation, that stuff on Sunday mornings and Saturday mornings. These 2 timings are Indian Standard Time, 9 to 11. And then we also have evening lives on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays, evening lives from 5 to 6 p.m. IST. Okay, 5 to 6 p.m. IST is going to be Bhagavad Gita. We have a beautiful teacher, Ananya ji. She has been teaching Bhagavad Gita she's the head of the Chinmaya mission in Guwahati, and she is a sannyasi. She is in her early 30s, and she left behind everything for the spiritual life. Extremely beautiful person. She's going to be teaching the Bhagavad Gita to our TTC students on Saturday evenings from 5 to 6 p.m. for 4 Saturdays. And then after that, we have other teachers come to teach you, whether it's the Yoga Sutras or whatever else. We have lectures that supplement your learnings. We then, after the Bhagavad Gita class, we have an hour every Saturday with on corrections, on live corrections. Okay, so if you've been doing stuff and you have questions about your asana practice, individual questions that we have not been able to address in the practice, this is your time to come to get personal attention, right? If you say that, hey, I want to accomplish this asana, I want to be doing this. So this is our correction time that happens on Saturday evening. So Saturday is Bhagavad Gita class 5 to 6, and 6 to 7 p.m. IST is corrections. Okay, asana corrections and asana. So anything which requires personal attention happens on this day. On Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m., 5 to 6 p.m., sorry, we have Bhakti Yoga. Very important. In fact, perhaps this is one of the most important things that you're going to be learning in our course is about bhakti, right? Um, it's about going beyond the asana practice on the mat, generating that kind of all encompassing love, which is absolutely possible. So it'll be quite beautiful. We do a satsang, we do kirtan, we do chanting. This is with one of our teachers, Greta, who is an ISKCON devotee. So she's designed a very special Bhakti Yoga class, which you guys will definitely love on Sunday evenings. Okay, and then after 6 p.m., we usually will have something or the other. It'll be a meditation, it'll be a pranayam. So it'll be something or the other on Sunday evenings, okay, that we'll have on the schedule depending on the needs of the students, right? We're keeping this course really small by application only because we want everyone coming to the course to be serious, and we want your cohort to be serious. Remember, these are all your yoga brothers and sisters, right? You guys are all on this journey together, so everyone is all serious as part of this course. So we're keeping it small. We're keeping it so that everyone who's coming is truly interested. And so it's going to be a pretty special batch that we're doing. And yes, this is what the program is going to be. Um, and are there any questions right now on the schedule on any kind? So 32 modules over 8 weeks. We expect you to be doing 4 every day. There's a holiday like once a week, and then weekends. We have around 3 to 4 hours of lives on Saturdays and Sundays, mornings and evenings, right? So no matter what time zone you're in, if you're in the US, if you're in Australia, if you're in Dubai, if you're in the Middle East, you should be able to capture some of this at least, right? At least some of this live at some point you should be able to come. And then of course, if you're not able to do any of it, we'll figure out a way for you to get some personalized and customized attention. So this is what the schedule is. We've also, because of the TTC in these 2 months, we're also trying to have more speakers at our studio, and all of that, so that everyone is getting everyone gets a pretty cool exposure to a whole bunch of things. Um, uh, is this mandatory, the evening and the morning sessions? We would like for you to attend. It's good to attend because listen, in any TTC, there's going to be parts that you don't like. Okay, there's going to be parts that you don't like. When our TTC happened, we had to come in the morning at 6 o'clock and do 2 hours of bhajans. Okay, I'm not joking. And then 2 hours again in the evening of bhajans. 4 hours every day, And people from Italy and stuff would be like, what does this stuff mean? We'd have no idea. Why are we singing stuffed songs all the time? We didn't come here to do that. And the guys who used to complain the most, at the end of it, they were the ones who loved the bhajans the most. Okay. So the stuff that you don't like, sometimes you have to do it. Okay. In fact, I would suggest the stuff that you don't want to do is the stuff that you should be doing. All right. Um, Yes, but try as much as possible to be a part of these sessions. If there's a special reason why you need exemption because of, I don't know, some sort of an issue, then we'll try and consider it. But we would like for you to come as much as possible to as much of this. We're also doing all of this because we want the students to learn. We want you guys to get exposure to these wonderful teachers and these wonderful people. And we're trying to make this course as all encompassing as usual. And it doesn't matter what religion you're from, all this stuff is, we're keeping this less religious and more spiritual, right? This is all about no matter what part of the world you're in, all of this stuff is going to help you, and it's going to help you teach people and spread the message of yoga. So I would say it's about 3 to 4 hours on the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday. Um, we sometimes have the corrections class in the evening. We do have bhakti yoga every single Sunday for 1 hour, and which we would like for you to attend. And then we have the Bhagavad Gita class, and we have corrections. So these three things are for sure part of the schedule, and some other things will move around depending on how the course is progressing, what students are demanding. So we're keeping a little bit of space in the schedule to be able to do this. Oh yes. What is the exam? What is the process of evaluation? Guys, most of you will pass, okay? I mean, we don't really want to fail anyone, all right? That's not the yoga that's not the yoga kind of thing. So, but yes, there is going to be an exam, all right? There is going to be a class that you'll be teaching to your fellow yogis as well as in our studio. So you guys, this course is designed to help you become teachers, you know? It's that, at the end of this, all of you are going to be ready to teach a class. Okay, you guys will be all ready to teach a simple yoga class. And however much advanced you want to make it, that comes with years and years of practice. You will realize how difficult it is to teach a sun salutation, Surya Namaskar, When you see teachers teaching it, you're like, okay, when you actually, this Surya Namaskar becomes like a mantra, the steps of the Surya Namaskar. And so, yeah, it's quite amazing. The kind of things that you learn as a yoga teacher, and when you go to class, you're like, wow, I didn't realize this was so difficult. So it's pretty interesting how that happens. But as a yoga teacher, it's not just yoga you're teaching, it's something a lot more. It's something a lot more. It's about transmission of energy. That's what you're doing. And for transmitting energy, yourself have to have your cup full. And so in this course, we're going to cover a little bit of Ayurveda, a little bit of nutrition, right? Mantras, meditation, pranayam. And we're trying to make this as time efficient as possible. Ashwin, I know many of you guys are working, you have full-time jobs, but don't worry, we're trying to structure the information so that it's palatable. 20-minute modules, it doesn't take up so much of your time. But if you listen to this stuff carefully, and you have these modules for life, right? These are yours to keep. We're making them concise so that you can anytime go back to them. Say 3 years later, you'll say, oh, what was that? What was that thing about the correction in that asana, right? So you can go back, check out your video, check out your manual, and you'll have all of these things with you, right? So I still have my teacher training manual from so long ago. It's falling apart, but I still refer to that because I studied that, right? So this is what we're trying to accomplish, and more than anything else, you'll begin to learn about your own body and your own mind. This is something also very interesting that begins to happen during a course. Now I'm going to answer a couple of questions, guys. Please put in your questions. Now, if someone is extremely indisciplined and doesn't turn up for any classes, we'll have to see. Maybe we're going to make them repeat the TTC again, probably. That's what we're going to make them do. So you're not going to fail. Worst case scenario, you're going to have to do another TTC, all right? And if so, that's what's going to happen. And can we get a detailed syllabus? Yes, if you guys really want a detailed syllabus, you can have that. But I've kind of explained it to you right now. We have anatomy, we have asanas, we have philosophy, we have bhakti, right? We have, of course, pranayama meditation. We have, all of these things covered. So we're giving you guys a little bit of everything. So you get a good scenario. Dhaval, can I join every day? Dhaval, yes, you can absolutely join classes every day. In fact, we want you to come to live classes. So through the live classes, you get exposure to a number of teachers and you get exposure to a number of teaching styles, right? This is important so that you are able to understand what is it that you like, what is it that you don't like. In every class, from every teacher, you can learn something. And this is what our intention is by giving you access to our live classes. This is what you begin to learn from our teachers, right? Okay, Shween, we're going to talk about all this. Yeah, we'll manage something for sure. During the weekdays, Ambreen, it's as per your schedule. You do your modules whenever it is. We're going to give you like a schedule that you should maybe follow like an ideal schedule, but it depends on you and what your life demands are. But we would like for you to at least be practicing yoga for 1 hour a day through our live classes and do your 20-minute module, 30-minute module. That should take you around another 30 to 40 minutes, right? Great. Wonderful. You guys can see me, right? Okay, wonderful. Sorry. Wonderful. Great. Uh, does this course, it is require English. It all will be in English, Um, Lavisha, yes, you can absolutely join this, Lavisha. Absolutely. That's not a problem. No matter what level of yoga you're in, no matter what, no matter what you have, but we do have an application form that we do need you to fill out. So you will be evaluated based on your application form. Okay. Um, you will be evaluated based on this thing. What is the cost of this program? The cost of this program is actually, we had an early bird offer which was running, which was for in INR 50,000, which was INR. So let me just look at this. I forget what the pricing is, so I'm just looking at this document. What is the cost? Important question. Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste this. The cost was INR 60,000. We gave this to our special members and to our, we had an early bird discount running for the first few people who signed up for this course. For those people who are signing up today, I have requested that we do offer something special for the course. So please do write in to neelam at yoglove.in if you'd like to join. And we do have, I think she can work out some special pricing for you to do this. I'm also pulling up the application website. Guys, the investment in this course is not that much, all online TTCs really cost a lot more, and it's kind of wonderful this is online, right? So this becomes actually much more affordable than an offline TTC, and it becomes pretty convenient. There's also no better time to do this course than now. I mean, it's a lockdown, it's a pandemic. So, try to try to try to do it honestly. If you guys are really sincere, if you guys are really sincere, then absolutely we'll try and work out something for you guys. So don't worry about that too much. All right, that's not like our main thing here. But yeah, apply for the course. If the cost is a huge issue to you for whatever reason, we'll try and work something out. We have given scholarships to students in need also. This is also part of what we're doing in our program. If they need it, we did give it to them. And that's, as a yoga studio, we don't want to keep people away, right? For whatever reason. So we will definitely take your thing. The price is different for people who are living outside of India. Okay, and the reason for that is why we do this and why most other yoga places do this is because teachers, when they're teaching in India, their earning capability is much less, right? Here, what we charge for yoga classes is a lot less than when you're teaching in the US, where you get more. So for the US students, we do have a slightly different price. And so if you guys are living abroad, then the price is different only because there is a price differential, right, for people who are living outside of India and living in India. The other question is, can you please share asanas? How many asanas this TTC is going to cover? So, now how many asanas will a teacher train? That's a good question. I have a book called 2021 Asanas. 2000. This is a book that I have, and we can actually, in some way or the other, if you count in variations, we're probably going to be learning a lot of asanas. But you know what? The toolbox that I'm trying to give you is trying to give you the basics, so you can take and learn a fundamental skeleton, and then you can slowly build on top of it. And this takes a lifetime sometimes, right? So that base is something that you guys should be able to teach a yoga class at any given, like you should just be able to get out of bed and teach a yoga class. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys. So there's a lot of questions coming in. I wasn't so great at talking about this stuff. We start on May 1 and we end on July 1. Okay, it's a 2-month course. It's 8 weeks. So that means we have 8 weekends that we meet live, and there's 32 modules. So we expect you to be doing 4 modules a week. Now, what happens is sometimes if one week is really busy and you're not able to complete your modules, you can do it some other week. So how you complete these modules, you can maybe complete them all in one day. That completely depends up to you. And certified by Yoga Alliance, okay, which helps you. Basically, you can teach anywhere around the world because we're certified with Yoga Alliance. You can actually go ahead and wherever you want to teach around the world, you have a Yoga Alliance certification. All right. So it's a global certification. Uh, what is the difference between the RYT and the RYS? This is Suresh, like a Yoga Alliance technicality. You can go check out their website. I forget on the top of my head, but they sort of mention everything on that website. Okay, so I'm doing yoga from 2010 when I was 10 years old, but from the last years old, I started doing it, but it's too hard to do the same. Yes, absolutely, Mili Mehta, time to get back. If you need a push and you need to make a commitment to yourself, then do it. Make a 2-month commitment, and I promise you, if you don't show up to class, then we'll make sure that you show up to class. All right? So yes. Uh, Great. Advik has answered that question for everyone. Okay, this is an important question. The good news is, and you know why I'm personally excited about doing this course and teaching this course, honestly, is because I'm hoping that everyone becomes a yoga teacher, and we have an online studio, and we hope that you guys can teach at our online studio, and we will give you as many opportunities as possible. Maybe initially by giving you private teachers, right? Teaching private clients is a beautiful way to learn because you get to teach through one person. You don't have the fear factor of a group, and you get to learn about human bodies and through private classes. So we give you those experiences through private classes, through teaching classes in our studio. We'll give you those opportunities. So when you do the TTC from us, our hope is that you become good enough yoga teachers to be able to teach in our studio, and that we can train you over the years, right? And that you're able to get to that point to be able to teach it. Subrata has another question. These are all addressable on the Yoga Alliance website. E is like for experience, E is when you have teaching experience hours. And definitely after you graduate from this course, we will give you opportunities to teach. If you've proved yourself to be good yoga teachers and you're confidently able to take a class, or if nothing else, if you're sincere, that's the number one most important thing. If you're sincere and willing to learn. Anything else, guys? We have chanting to go to now, 7:45. We've been chanting every day of the Navratri. So any other questions? I have put the application form in the in the text box. Okay, so you can please go ahead and go and check it out online. And Advik, you can find that on the online thing that we're doing, right? On the website link. We will email it to you after the course, and we will send you all the information you need in terms of cost and stuff like that. And I am just putting in an email address of Neelam. You can put in questions here. You can visit our website, all in the chat box, and find out more about the TTC program. If there's anything else, just send us an email, and I would love to be able to reply to you all. So thank you, everyone, and see some of you guys in chanting, and the rest of you, I hope to see you in a yoga class, right? Definitely do consider this, and it can be a beautiful way of transformation, right? And we're happy to help you in any which way. If it's a matter of money, then we'll definitely, write to us, tell us why it's a matter of money, and we'll definitely consider this. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. See you guys soon. Bye.